Hi, Grade 4 scientists. Today, we will talk about Chapter 4 of your Science Investigatory project, which is all about results and discussion. This is where you'll explain the data you collected in your experiment and what those results mean. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to present the results from your experiment and explain and discuss the results clearly. What is Chapter 4? Results and discussion. The results section shows the data you collected during your experiment. This might include measurements, counts, or observations, and it helps us see how the experiment turned out. Example: in our experiment on plant growth, we could measure how tall the plants grew each week. The discussion is where you explain what those results mean. You look at your data and talk about how it answers your research question and supports, or doesn't support, your hypothesis. Example: in our experiment, if the plant with more water grew taller, we would discuss how that supports our hypothesis that plants need more water to grow better. How to present the results. 1. Using tables and graphs. A good way to show your results is by using tables and graphs. A table helps organize the data, and a graph makes it easy to see patterns. For example, we could have a table showing the height of the plants every week. Then we can turn that table into a bar graph to show how the plants grew with different amounts of water. 2. Be clear. Remember, the results section should be clear and organized, so others can understand your findings easily. How to write the discussion. 1. Interpreting the data. After showing the results, the discussion explains what happened. Did the results match what you thought would happen? Did anything surprise you? Example: if we find that the plant with the most water didn't grow the tallest, we might explain that there could be another factor that affected the plant's growth, like sunlight or the type of soil.
2. Relating results to the research question or hypothesis. Explain how your findings answer the research question or support, refute the hypothesis, connect your data to the objectives of your study, highlight patterns, trends, or unexpected results.
3. Consider other factors. Remember to think about other factors that could have affected your results, like the amount of sunlight, temperature, or even the type of soil. This is where we talk about what could have gone wrong or what could have been better. Example of writing results and discussion. Example experiment. Let's go back to our plant experiment. Here's how you would write the results and discussion. Results: I measured the height of 3 plants every week for 4 weeks. The plant watered with 50 milliliters of water grew 3 centimeters. The plant watered with 100 milliliters of water grew 5 centimeters. And the plant watered with 150 milliliters of water grew 4 centimeters. Here's the table example. As you can see and observe the table in the discussions, we can present that the plant that received 100 milliliters of water grew the tallest. This supports my hypothesis that plants need more water to grow better. However, the plant with 150 milliliters of water did not grow as well, so maybe it got too much water or there was another factor like sunlight affecting the growth. Tips for writing results and discussion. 1. Be honest. Always be honest about your results. Even if they don't match your hypothesis, it's okay. The goal is to learn from your experiment. 2. Use simple words. Explain the results in simple words. Don't overcomplicate things. 3. Use data to support your ideas. When writing the discussion, always refer back to the data. Don't just say, the plant grew taller, but explain why you think that happened. Activity time. The class will divide into small groups, 4 to 5 students per group. The task is to analyze the data, write the results and discussion for each presented experiment, and then present their findings to the class. For card 1, plant growth experiment. What was the tallest plant? What does the data suggest? What can be concluded about water and plant growth? Card 2, ice melting experiment. What happened as the size of the ice cube increased? How would you explain the results? Let's reflect. 1. What did you learn about how data can help us understand experiments? 2. How can the results and discussion help improve or change the way we do experiments in the future? 3. What was the most interesting conclusion you heard from another group? Why is it important to present your results in a clear and organized way? How does the discussion help explain the meaning of the results? What do you think would happen if we didn't discuss the results after an experiment? Remember, in experiments, the results and discussions help us understand what happened during the experiment and why it happened.
Presenting results clearly through tables, graphs, or written descriptions makes it easier to see patterns and draw conclusions. The discussion section allows us to interpret the data, explain the possible causes of what we observed, and make suggestions for further experiments or improvements. When writing a science investigatory project, we should carefully analyze our results and discuss them in a way that answers the research question. Let's evaluate. Choose the letter of the correct answer. 1. What is the main purpose of the results section in a science investigatory project? A. To explain how the experiment was conducted. B. To summarize the data collected during the experiment. C. To make predictions about the future. D. To describe the problem in the experiment. Two, which of the following best describes the discussion section of a science investigatory project? A. A part where the researcher writes a personal opinion about the experiment. B. A section where the researcher explains the findings and connects them to the research question. C. A place to list the equipment used in the experiment. D. A conclusion of the experiment with no further explanation. 3. What should a researcher do in the discussion section if the results do not match the expected outcomes? A. Ignore the unexpected results. B. Explain possible reasons for the unexpected results. C. Only write about the expected results. D. Skip the discussion and move on to the next part. True or false? Write true if the statement is correct and false if it is incorrect. 4. The results section of an experiment should include only qualitative data, not quantitative data. 5. In the discussion section, a researcher can suggest improvements or changes for future experiments. 6. A graph is a helpful tool for summarizing the data in the results section. Explain. 7. Why is it important to present data clearly in a science investigatory project? 8. What should you include in the discussion section of a science investigatory project? 9. If your experiment's results are different from your hypothesis, what should you do in the discussion section? Write a short results and discussion summary based on the data provided. 6 points will be given. You can click the link to see an example of the content in Chapter 4. I hope you learned a lot from our lesson today. Now, let me leave you with this thought. In every experiment, it's not just the results that matter, but how we interpret them to understand the world around us. Thank you until our next lesson.